Well, win itself another European victory. 6 wins on the bounce. The kids looking good. Mark Guiu scoring a brace. Break it down for me. What are you happy with? What impressed you?
Well, just on a side note, I think that's the first game I've ever watched a professional footballer, goalkeeper, wearing a woolly hat in goal. I know it was cool. I've never seen that before. Even the ref had all the gloves on and everything. No, it was listen, it could have been a little bit of a slip with the team that we picked, but no, like you said, there was some players we recognised, some players from the academy. It was a straightforward win in the end. Their goal was an absolute banger, by the way, so there's no blame on Jorgensen for that or anything like that. They rarely troubled us. It's just with the conditions and everything like that. I'm glad we got a lead so quickly that we didn't really have to strain ourselves or do anything. But we should be steamrolling through teams like this anyway. You know, I always said at the start of the competition, I think we should have been given a bye to the final, and everyone should play against us in the final. Because these games are just there for me for give minutes of players that don't usually play. I mean, we didn't play some of our usual players in this team. There's no Nkuku or Felix or Badiashile just off the top of my head. You know, it was we had, like you said, it was like Neto and Dewsbury Hall were really recognised big names out there. And like I said, like you said, some of the kids like Raksai, who I don't really watch or anything like that, but there's big like buzz about Tyreek George and Achimpong, especially with our right back situation with Achimpong signing new contract. So they stood out. They played well. And Mark Gui got or Guy, or however you pronounce the name, got a couple of goals. So and Vega, who is very good as well, got there as well. So just no injuries. Just come back to I would say it is warm over, but it's still cold. But just come back, and then we the full team can concentrate on Brentford this Sunday. So
that's the thing. You get that respite, and Achimpong. Yeah, sorry, he wasn't the central midfielder. He's the right back for you. Yeah,
he's the right. Yeah,
I did think he looked good, and you know, I actually saw Don talk about. He just called him Joshua when he tweeted about him the other day. He obviously talking about him. You know, there is a pathway to right back for you now with Reece James's body letting him down, and I think there's an opportunity for him to pounce. I also look at the left-hand side of your attack. I know some Chelsea fans will defend him, but I'm not too sure if Mykhailo Mudryk is ever going to be the guy. Jadon Sancho's got that place down. And if you could cash in and get quite a bit of money back for Mudryk and then promote someone like Tyreek George to be the backup, that's an option now for Chelsea. And I think he demonstrates, yes, he hasn't got the finishing touch yet, but what I liked about him and I liked about Raksaki is they both just do the simple things well. They keep it basic when they need to. They don't overcomplicate matters. They've got a good first touch, good basic technique in the sense of they don't look like they're struggling out there, where some of your first team players, and I put Mykhailo Mudryk into that, there are times where he can look amazing. There are times when the ball kind of bounces off him like he's a brick wall, and you just think, I'm not too sure. So, look, it's a good problem for Chelsea to have with these young players coming through as well. And as you say, all rested for the weekend ahead. In fact, most of your players, even a lot of the first teamers that play in the Conference League, didn't even fly out there. So, very, very good for him.
I think Neto was only out there because he's suspended for the Brentford game. So it's just to keep minutes in his legs, essentially, because he'll be out for like a couple of weeks. So we're not in a League Cup this week, or next week that's popping up. So and like you said, I think when it comes to the youngsters, I think they just have a different mindset because they probably know they're not going to get a lot of the games. Yes. So it's almost like a free hit essentially for them. Whereas like you say, the guys like Mudryk and like Dewsbury Hall, I'm convinced Dewsbury Hall was only bought because he's like an inside man for a Maresca in the dressing room. So he's like there for one season just to build up Maresca's rep for the rest of the guys. He'll be gone in the summer anyway. But it was just we should be able to play the kids in this and in the next game against Shamrock at home as well. Do you know what I mean? I'm just glad. I don't think we ever would, but I think it would have been embarrassing if we had to play 2 playoff games in this competition.
Mate. Yeah.
I just think we should win. I think we should win every single game. It's like there's no one. There's only real 2 real names. It's not even like on a fair basis that I recognise are Fiorentina and Real Betis. They're the only 2.
They're the only 2 that are going to be able to cause you any real problem. I know the format's different now, but this just goes to show how embarrassing it was that Tottenham went out in the group stage all those years ago. It just shows how poor that was. Yes, I know they had to forfeit a game, but they should never have been in that position. You know, I mean, West Ham have won it. I think that's the thing as well. If West Ham are winning it, Chelsea have to. But honestly,
it has to be. It has to be. It would be a big, even as well as Maresca's done this season, it would be a massive embarrassment for this club not to win this competition. It would be embarrassing. Should be a gimme.
I hear that. I hear that where you're coming from. What is it? Kieran Dewsbury Hall back to Leicester for 50 million. He's what CAA Matthias is here.
That'd be some return. I'll tell you, 20 million on 20 million on top.
King Kings here says Dewsbury Hall is having the Cucurella situation right now. He's going to pick up form, and we are going to be surprised. He's such a good player. Let's not let him go yet.
Well, he's not getting. He's not ahead of the three that are in the midfield. He hardly makes Premier League squads either. That's the thing. He's not even if he's coming off the bench to get trash minutes. He's getting these cup games every couple of weeks. I mean, no doubt he'll play in the FA Cup third round against is it Morecambe? I can't remember who playing there.
Yeah. Do you know what I think is a really good sign about that though? Just as listening to what you've said and the viewers on this show, is sometimes managers have their favorites.
Yeah.
And this is proof that Maresca doesn't move that way at all, because this is someone from his previous club who he could have persisted with no matter how well others are doing. In fact, he's barely getting minutes, which I think goes to show it doesn't matter if you play with under him before, if you've been brought in as this kind of, it sounds like a player that he's pushed for, saying I really need someone like him, but instantly he hasn't needed him and he's not forcing him into the team. And I know Man United have, I think Chelsea have in the last couple of years, managers that will persist with players that are not good enough, or there's better on the bench, or they play them out of position to squeeze them into a team, and it makes you imbalanced. And I think that's a good, if it doesn't work out with Dewsbury Hall, I don't think any Chelsea fans really going to care in the medium to long term. But I think it's a really good sign that your manager isn't sort of married to the idea that he has to play.
Yeah, and also I think if he does go, which I think he will, there's all talk about bringing Andre Santos back from Strasbourg anyway to be part of this squad. And even I think there's some talk even in January of like being an Ugo Chukwu back from Southampton, like because it's not working out on loan there. So it's it's one of those. But I like I say, I think sometimes when the new manager goes in, they bring like at least one player in. Sometimes when they leave, it's like whether they're going to be a part that they just put them in there like to familiarity. Sometimes I think
someone that knows the manager's word and sort of says
look at David Moyes with like Fellaini when he went to
what's his name, Harry Redknapp used to do it all the time with the likes of Jermaine Defoe and Cranchar and these players. Basically he's like his own child. Look, everyone who's tuned in, I want to thank you all.